3 years ago, Adekunle laid his beloved wife Adebisi to rest after a long and painful illness. She was everything to him, her laughter, her warmth, and the life they shared. He buried her with his own hands, watching the earth swallow her up. He never thought he'd love again. That was 3 years ago. But today, as Adekunle walked through the crowded market of Ibadan, he saw a woman who looked just like her. Could it really be Adebisi? Was his mind playing tricks on him, or had the impossible happened? Was she back? The answer to this mystery could either restore his life or tear apart the very fabric of reality itself. But what will happen when Adekunle faces the truth? And what price must he pay for something that should be impossible? The air was thick with the scent of fresh spices, roasted yams and fragrant herbs, as Adekunle walked through the crowded streets of Ibadan. The market bustled with life, the sound of bargaining and laughter filling the air. But for Adekunle, the world felt distant. Each step he took was heavy, weighed down by 3 years of sorrow and loss. 3 years ago, Adekunle had lost Adebisi to a mysterious illness that no doctor could cure. She was vibrant, full of life, and then suddenly gone. The grief had consumed him. He no longer felt like the man he had been. His family tried to console him, but nothing could fill the void she had left behind. Since her death, Adekunle had become a shadow of his former self. He worked the land, took care of his family's business, and spent most of his time in solitude. The memory of Adebisi lingered like an echo in his heart, reminding him that he would never be the same. But there was more, a whisper in the back of his mind. Adebisi couldn't be gone forever. Not like this. He couldn't accept that. He had heard rumors of ancient healers and mystics in the villages around Ibadan, those who could walk between the worlds of the living and the dead. He had dismissed them as superstition, but deep down a part of him had always wondered, could she be brought back? Could he find a way to see her again, even if it meant paying a price? One afternoon, as Adekunle walked through the marketplace, his heart heavy with thoughts of Adebisi, he noticed an old woman sitting on the steps of a weathered building. She was cloaked in dark fabric, her eyes hidden by a veil. Her voice, when she spoke, seemed to cut through the noise of the market like a blade. "You seek what cannot be found, Prince of Ife," she said, her voice low and knowing. Adekunle froze, the hair on the back of his neck standing up. He had never seen this woman before, but her presence was unmistakable. The air around her seemed charged, as if she were part of something ancient, something beyond him. "You seek to bring her back, don't you?" the woman continued, her voice a haunting whisper. "But know this, death is not so easily undone. Every soul has its path, and when you stray from it, there are consequences." Adekunle's heart pounded in his chest. He hadn't spoken of his grief to anyone, but this woman knew his deepest desire. "How do you know?" Adekunle asked, his voice hoarse. The woman smiled, a strange, almost sad smile. "The world is full of secrets, Adekunle. I can help you find what you seek. But remember, nothing comes without a cost." Desperation overwhelmed Adekunle. His heart, torn between fear and hope, was willing to take any chance to see Adebisi again. He asked the woman, "Can you truly bring her back?" The woman nodded slowly, her eyes gleaming with ancient knowledge. "Yes, but there is a price. The living cannot be brought back without taking something of equal value. Life is a delicate balance. To give you her soul, I will take something precious from you in return." Adekunle hesitated. The cost was unclear, but his longing for Adebisi clouded his judgment. What could be more important than her, he thought. What would I not give to have her back? The woman's eyes narrowed as if reading his mind. "You must understand," she said softly. "The price is not always physical. Sometimes it is your heart, your memories, or your very soul." Adekunle swallowed hard. "I accept. Whatever the cost, I will pay." The moment the words left his mouth, Adekunle felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The woman's smile widened, revealing sharp, pointed teeth. For a moment he felt a deep, gnawing sense of regret, but it was too late to turn back. She handed him a small vial filled with dark liquid. "Drink this," she said, "and the ritual will begin. You will have what you seek, but be prepared. The consequences are always more than you expect." When Adekunle drank the potion, his world seemed to swirl. The sky darkened, and the air grew thick with a strange energy. For a moment everything was silent. Then suddenly, he found himself back in the village, standing before Adebisi's grave. The earth seemed to tremble as the ground shifted beneath his feet. When Adekunle opened his eyes, Adebisi stood before him, as beautiful and alive as she had been before her death. Her smile was radiant, her eyes filled with warmth and love. She reached out, embracing him, and for a moment the world seemed to fall away, but something felt off. There was an emptiness in the air, a void where warmth should have been. Adebisi's touch was cold, and her laughter lacked the sparkle it once had. As days passed, Adekunle couldn't shake the feeling that Adebisi was not quite the same. Her eyes, though still filled with love, sometimes glazed over as if she were staring into a different world. She would speak of things that didn't make sense, as if she had forgotten pieces of her life. At night, Adekunle would hear her walking through the house, whispering his name, but when he found her, she would be standing by the window, gazing out at the moon. She seemed lost, her presence distant. One evening, Adekunle confronted Adebisi, his voice trembling with concern. "Why do you act so strange? Why do you seem so distant?" Adebisi looked at him, her face full of sorrow. "I am not who I was, Adekunle. I can feel it. There is a part of me that is missing. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not the woman you buried." Suddenly it all became clear. The woman he had brought back was not his wife. She was a shadow, a reflection of her. The price he had paid for her return was the very essence of her soul. He had sacrificed the very thing he loved most to restore her. But in doing so, he had lost the part of her that made her human. The more Adekunle tried to connect with her, the more Adebisi seemed to slip away. People in the village began to notice, whispering that there was something wrong with her. The joy of having her back had been replaced by a creeping, cold emptiness that haunted their home. Desperate to fix his mistake, Adekunle sought out the witch once more. He traveled back to the market where he had first encountered her, hoping she could undo what had been done. When he found her, the witch was waiting. "I knew you would come," she said, her voice soft and cold. "You want to undo the bargain, don't you?" Adekunle nodded. "Please take it back. Take her soul back and give me mine. I can't live with what I've done." The witch looked at him for a long time before speaking. "Once the bargain is made, it cannot be undone. But there is one way to free her and yourself." The witch explained that the only way to break the curse was for Adekunle to give up his own soul willingly, returning it to the realm of the dead. By doing so, Adebisi's soul would be freed, and she would find peace. Adekunle stood there, trembling. The decision was agonizing. He had already lost so much, but to lose himself completely was a price he was no longer willing to pay. With a heavy heart, he made the choice. He embraced Adebisi one last time, and as their fingers touched, he whispered, "Go, my love. Be free." As Adebisi's form faded into the night, Adekunle felt his own soul begin to fade with her, knowing that he had made the right choice. The village would never know the true story of what had happened. But Adekunle had learned that the price of love, of life, and of death was a steep one. He had sacrificed everything to free Adebisi, and in doing so found the peace that had eluded him for so long. If you could bring someone back from the dead, would you do it? What would you be willing to lose? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe for more tales that make you rethink the choices you make and the sacrifices you're willing to endure.